August 12, 1944, Fort Robinson, POW Camp, Nebraska. The morning sun hasn't yet burned the dew off the prairie grass when the trucks roll through the main gate. Dust curls around their wheels, drifting over the endless plains like a pale brown veil. Inside the lead vehicle sit 30 exhausted German soldiers, sunken-eyed, uniforms tattered, boots worn nearly to the sole. None of them say a word, but every man feels the same knot tightening in his stomach. Gefreiter Lucas Meinhardt presses his back against the wooden slats of the truck bed, bracing himself as the road levels out. He can smell hay, fresh, dry, familiar, and for a moment it reminds him of summers on his family's farm outside Kassel. But the barbed wire fences and watchtowers quickly bring him back to reality. This is not home. This is captivity. The truck jerks to a stop. American guards wearing neatly pressed khaki uniforms signal the prisoners to step down. Their helmets gleam in the sunlight. Their rifles, M1 Garands, catch the light with a metallic flash. One guard, a corporal with a soft Appalachian accent, calls out instructions that are translated by a German-speaking interpreter. The tone is firm, but not hostile. Meinhardt and the others shuffle into formation. They expect barking orders, rough searches, hard stares. Instead, they're met with something far stranger. A casual nod, a half smile, even a "Morning, fellas." It has no place in war, and yet here it is. As the men are marched toward the reception hall, a smell drifts toward them. Warm, rich, savory. One of the younger prisoners whispers, "Braten?" Another shakes his head. Impossible. It must be for the guards. But as they step inside the long wooden building, their eyes widen. There, lined along a stainless steel counter, sits a meal none of them have seen since before the war. Thick slices of beefsteak, steam rising from each one, bowls of green beans, fresh bread so soft it yields under the server's knife, and at the far end a row of pies, apple, cherry, peach, golden crusts glistening with sugar. No one moves. No one breathes. Not until the interpreter clears his throat. "You will eat 3 times a day. This is today's lunch." The words don't register at first. The prisoners glance at one another, waiting for the catch, waiting for the trick. Germany is rationing everything: bread, butter, meat, even potatoes. These men have marched through mud, hunger, and winter on half rations. Some haven't tasted real beef in years. Yet here, in the middle of the American Midwest, their first meal in captivity looks like a Sunday feast. Meinhardt finally steps forward. His hands tremble as he accepts the plate. He's not alone. Every German soldier, battle-hardened, grim, resigned, now stands frozen in disbelief as the scent of warm steak and sweet fruit fills the hall. It feels impossible. It feels unreal. It feels, for the first time in years, like abundance. And none of them can understand why. The mess hall hums with quiet disbelief as the German prisoners move slowly down the serving line. An American cook, broad-shouldered, apron dusted with flour, carves steaks with the easy rhythm of a man who's done it 1,000 times. He doesn't look at the prisoners with contempt or triumph, just a professional doing his job. Meinhardt watches the blade glide through the meat. Juices run in tiny rivers across the cutting board. The cook places a slice on his plate, then adds a scoop of mashed potatoes, fluffy, white, still steaming, and nudges it toward him. "Next," the cook says, almost cheerful. Behind Meinhardt, Feldwebel Otto Riegler murmurs, "This cannot be right. They're softening us before interrogation." But even Riegler, the oldest among them, can't take his eyes off the food. At the table, Meinhardt sits stiff-backed, unsure if he should wait for a command. None comes. The American guards stand along the wall, relaxed, chatting about baseball and harvest season. Only one keeps a firm eye on the room, but even he looks more bored than stern. Finally, Meinhardt cuts into the steak. The knife slides through with almost no pressure. He lifts the first bite to his mouth. Salt, char, heat, a richness he hasn't tasted since 1942. He closes his eyes. Around him, the others begin to eat, slowly at first, then faster, as though it will vanish. Some whisper prayers, others, too proud to show emotion, chew silently with clenched jaws, but their hands tremble just the same. When the pie arrives, thick crust, warm filling, a smell like the Christmas markets back home, it becomes too much for one of the younger soldiers. Tears slip down his cheeks. He tries to hide them behind his sleeve, but Meinhardt sees. "Meine Güte," the boy murmurs, voice cracking. Why would they feed us like this?" No one has an answer. After the meal, the prisoners are escorted outside. The air smells of sun-warmed hay and distant rain. They expect to be marched directly to their barracks, but instead, the guards lead them toward the camp's small infirmary for medical checks. Inside, a U.S. Army doctor examines each man. He speaks gently, sometimes offering a reassuring pat on the shoulder. He checks for lice, malnutrition, trench foot, conditions common among Wehrmacht troops by 1944. When it's Meinhardt's turn, the doctor shakes his head and scribbles something on a clipboard. "Underfed," the doctor says. "We'll fix that." The interpreter repeats the words in German. A murmur ripples across the room. Underfed. These men, enemy soldiers, are being told calmly, matter-of-factly, that the United States intends to repair them. As they exit the infirmary, Meinhardt glances back at the mess hall's windows glowing amber in the afternoon sun. The smell of roasting meat drifts faintly on the breeze. Whatever this place is, it is not what they imagined when they surrendered. Their war is over, but their confusion is only beginning. The walk to the barracks takes them across an open field, bordered by tall cottonwoods. Crickets buzz in the warm afternoon, and a tractor rumbles somewhere beyond the wire. The scene feels strangely peaceful, too peaceful for men who expected punishment, hard labor, or at least harsh discipline. Instead, the guards keep an easy pace, chatting idly about corn prices and the weather. Inside the barracks, sunlight spills through wide windows onto rows of clean bunks, fresh sheets, wool blankets, a small stove at the far end, still warm from the morning fire. The prisoners file in silently, their boots thudding on the wooden floorboards. Meinhardt sets his duffel down beside the bunk assigned to him. He runs a hand along the blanket, soft, thick, smelling faintly of soap. He looks around, expecting someone, anyone, to tell him not to touch it yet. No one does. Instead, a guard steps into the doorway and says, "You'll get work assignments tomorrow. Carpentry, farm detail, kitchen duty if you're unlucky." The interpreter translates with a smirk. The guard lifts his cap, scratches his brow, and adds, "Supper's at 5. Supper. Another meal. The word almost feels like a taunt. When the guard leaves, the room fills with low voices, Some men speculate that this treatment won't last. Others believe it's all propaganda, an American trick to earn cooperation. But a few, mostly younger soldiers, stare through the windows at the sprawling farmland beyond the fence. Riegler folds his arms and mutters, "If this is captivity, then the Wehrmacht lied to us." No one challenges him. No one can. Later, as evening settles, the prisoners gather outside for roll call. The sun dips beneath the prairie horizon, turning the sky a brilliant orange, streaked with rose and violet. The scent of supper drifts across the yard: roasted chicken, warm bread, and something sweet, maybe more pie. Meinhardt watches the guards. They seem tired, casual, unthreatened. One of them tosses a baseball back and forth with another, laughing. It's a sound Meinhardt hasn't heard in months, pure, carefree laughter. He remembers then the rumors whispered among German troops overseas, that Americans were soft, naive, indulgent, that their comforts made them weak. Yet the abundance he's seen today, steak, pie, medical care, clean barracks, does not feel like softness. It feels like strength, a different kind of strength, one built not on domination or doctrine, but on confidence. Confidence backed by resources Germany could only dream of. As darkness deepens, the prisoners line up for supper. Another full plate, another reminder that their old world is gone. While he eats, Meinhardt glances at the American flag fluttering above the camp gate. Something in him shifts, something he can't yet name. Later, lying on his bunk, stomach full for the first time in years, he thinks of home, of ration cards, of his mother stretching a pot of thin soup, of the propaganda posters claiming German superiority. He closes his eyes and listens to the quiet murmur of the prairie wind.